is that rain? Are you crying again? Yo, welcome back to the podcast. It's always a pleasure to be here. Throughout the week, I think about it. I go, man, I can't wait till Sunday, even though it makes me a little bit nervous. You might think that it's so easy for me because I'm just this influencer guy. But look, I'm in my room. I set up the freaking camera. Got a microphone in front of me. Got the audio thing going. It's a little nerve-wracking when I start off. Got the cactus watching. But hey, we're here, and I'm excited about it. Oh, and that song. The reason that song is in my head, I made a little reel out of it. And I basically put a video of me doing a muscle up, but super slow, which is a pretty hard skill to do. And I put a little quote on there. How do you do that at 193 pounds? 'Cause that's how much I weigh right now. And then when it kind of drops into the hard-hitting part of the song, it switches over and it says I did it at 123 pounds first. And it's a video of young me, much skinnier, doing the same little movement. But yeah, I've been repping that song lately because it's so good. It's called Rain by the Teskey Brothers if you want to check it out. But kind of brings me perfectly into the topic of today's video, which is my training history, my thoughts on working out, different skills, the hybrid athlete thing. So I'm going to cover as many of my thoughts as I possibly can on that whole realm and that category today. But first, I wanted to read a comment that I got on the last podcast that I posted, which I think if all of them are out, if you're listening to this one, it's probably 2 or 3 ago. I've got them stacked up because I'm just like that. But let me see if I can find this because I thought it was pretty good. I know it was on the last episode. If I can't find the darn thing, then we're just going to have to move on from it. But let's see. First podcast I've listened to, and you're talking about ripping ass. I respect it. That wasn't the one, but that is hilarious. Okay, here it is. There's actually a comment on my first podcast that someone watched recently. So they said, I read somewhere that wisdom is the application of knowledge. This is wisdom right here. Grateful you're out here sharing. Well, thanks for watching and listening. But I'll read that again. Wisdom is the application of knowledge. So I actually talk about this a lot. I think a lot of people have really great ideas, really good insights, a lot of knowledge, but very few people actually act on it. So glad someone said that. That's a pretty cool quote there. Looking over at my notes here, just want to get started diving into kind of this whole training and exercise thought process. So my training history, there is a lot to dive into here, but my intro into working out was essentially calisthenics. So handstands, muscle ups, pull-ups. When I was in 6th grade, I think it was. Yeah, 6th grade. I was in PE class, and a friend of mine said, bro, have you seen what Sammy looks like? And Sammy was a friend of mine in 6th grade. He was a swimmer. And I said, no, because we were all in the locker room changing our T-shirts or whatever. I think it was before class. And I said, no. And so I walk over, and I see this friend of mine that I hadn't really known for that long, but dude was shredded. 12 years old, but shredded. And I went, what the hell is that? I've never seen something like that before. Bro just had the craziest abs ever. So as my 12-year-old self, I started just doing sit-ups every single day and getting obsessed over it because I thought, man, I want to look like that. And another buddy of mine and I, funny enough, would FaceTime every night, and I would write down workouts. I had this whiteboard thing on my wall, so we'd write down workouts, and then we would FaceTime and do the workouts together. So it'd be pull-ups, push-ups, sit-ups, planks, a bunch of calisthenics. And so I think around 7th grade, I started going to the gym for the first time. Used to work out with my dad. But I would just do calisthenics. I wouldn't do any weight training, which is kind of hilarious. And I did that for a while. But really, the whole calisthenics focus came from the fact that I just loved flips and all the tumbling gymnastics kind of stuff. So really wanted to get good at that. Was always just so impressed by people that could hold a handstand forever. I thought that's the craziest thing in the world. So I really got engulfed by trying to learn as many skills as possible. And that was kind of the intro. after the calisthenics focus, or I would say actually in pretty strong alignment with the calisthenics focus, it was all of the flips, and then it turned into wheelies and riding a unicycle and just all of this random shit, because I thought, well, there must be some kind of value to being semi-good at nearly everything. And I always saw people that were kind of the Swiss Army knife of skills as really cool. So I thought, okay, let me try and get good at everything. And a focus of mine, as well as my friends, whenever we would hang out, we'd say, okay, we need to learn something new today. So this was kind of the obsession. There's a lot of things I kind of want to talk through actually regarding the tumbling, flips, gymnastics stuff, because there's strength, which I was learning muscle ups and handstands and all of these skills when I was not fit. So that was my intro into fitness. So, I could talk to one of my friends today who's really jacked and teach them a muscle up in one day. But it took weeks, if not months, of trying the muscle up to actually get it, because I didn't have any pre-existing strength to help me along. So the strength element was not there. The fitness element was not there. So the technique had to be so dialed in. This is why I love things that require technique today, like Olympic lifting. I still love doing flips, wake surfing, wakeboarding, all that kind of stuff. Super fun. Anything that requires kind of that fine motor skill, I guess you would call it, of modulating your body's control of itself or another thing, like a bike, a skateboard, something like that. So no fitness, all technique. Another aspect was fear. I mean, when you're standing on the edge of a freaking air conditioning unit in the backyard and you're about to do a standing gainer and then land on the ground, a lot of things can go wrong. And surely I had plenty of things go wrong in the past, but thankfully never got super duper hurt. But there's a huge fear element, and overcoming that, I think is kind of a pretty strong tool to have in the tool belt. So that's a big element of this flipping era for me, and it kind of has another level of thinking, planning, controlling your body than just pure fitness, pure capacity. But I'll get into that. So after many years of this calisthenics focus, I started getting into weight training, but kind of in a very simple sense. I would just do 3 sets of 10 with everything, or 4 sets of 12 with everything, 135 pounds with everything. So I'd bench 135, I would squat 135, and it was just very simple. And then I kind of started having this, I don't know, maybe guilt around not actually trying that hard in the gym. And I would see people on Instagram and YouTube going so hard, and these athletes just tired as shit after everything they do. And I was kind of questioning myself, because I thought, man, I feel like I work hard, but I don't know if I'm actually doing that. I feel like I might be leaving something on the table. So I actually got into CrossFit for a handful of years. I always considered what I was doing prior to doing CrossFit, funny enough, because I was doing all the gymnastic stuff, and I would run and do cardio things and just be generally fit. So I thought I was doing CrossFit until I started CrossFit. And then the first workout I did at a CrossFit gym, no, the second day, it's called Calsu. If you're a CrossFit person, you know what that is, and you know that that is a horrific workout. It's a hero workout, so it's done in the remembrance of a veteran that has passed away. So definitely a lot of meaning to it, but the workout itself is freaking horrible. It's 100 thrusters, if you know what a thruster is. I can't really demonstrate right now, especially if you're only listening, but a thruster is not an easy move. It's 100 thrusters for time, but at the beginning of every single minute, you have to do 5 burpees. Terrible. Absolutely terrible workout. But anyways, so I did CrossFit for a few years. What CrossFit taught me was truly the art of having a very difficult time every time you work out, which has some pros and some cons. I would say the pros is that you're pretty well equipped to do nearly everything. CrossFit, you're trying to be good at a bunch of different stuff. Definitely in my wheelhouse of trying to have a variety. I find CrossFit athletes incredibly impressive. Genuinely, because there's strength, there's technique, there's all of the gymnastics, there's the cardio stuff. I mean, these top CrossFit athletes are actually ridiculous. But going on a tangent here, as I tend to do, with the CrossFit, the cons, you can't apply that kind of dying every workout with all styles of training. You really shouldn't even apply it to CrossFit itself, but I think that's kind of the style that a lot of people go for. There's kind of this addiction to the horrific feeling and then the resolution afterwards, but you can't always apply that. And so I ran into a knee issue that, God, lasted 5-6 years. I mean, it still lingers around a little bit. It's quad tendinopathy, as far as I know, but it doesn't really bother me that much anymore. Just through overtraining, this is something that happened. I was doing the Russian squat program, squatting 3 times a week, heavy, because I was just obsessed with having big and strong legs, still kind of am, but have to modulate the excitement sometimes. So I was doing so much volume. I even got to a point where I was squatting every single day. You heard me, every single day. I would try and do at least one set of 5 with 315 every day. And that did not set me up for success, we'll say. And CrossFit is kind of the reason that I would go into normal styles of training, like kind of power building, a little bit of powerlifting, bodybuilding focus for the main part. But I would expect to have the same stimulus. I would expect to have the same feeling that I did after a CrossFit workout, after a bodybuilding workout in kind of a normal gym. So I'd be on the leg extension doing triple drop sets, just trying to blast my legs to the next planet. And you can see how that can kind of get out of hand and, you guessed it, create injuries like it did. So pros of CrossFit, you're pretty dialed in. You know how to work hard. The cons of CrossFit, you shouldn't apply that type of intensity to absolutely every single thing that you do. Like I mentioned, transitioning from kind of that CrossFit era into more of a power building, really starting off each workout with just squat, bench, or deadlift, trying to get stronger, and then going into hypertrophy just to get a better physique. Meanwhile, running every day, adding longer runs in there, doing sprints, just staying all around athletic, staying fit. My cardio baseline has always stayed pretty dang good, but I figured taking a few years to focus on building that foundation and then reintroducing harder cardio, which is more natural for me, would be a better plan. So spent a long time doing that. Current training split. My God, I have been putting a puzzle together for probably the last 12 months, trying to fit all different kinds of training styles and elements into a week. So right now, let's see if I can recite this properly. Monday, I hit legs at the gym. Simple workout, but a lot of intensity. Monday is also sprint club. So I'm hitting legs, and then a few hours later, I'm sprinting at the track. So in my mind, I don't want to sprint on Tuesday, or rather, I don't want to sprint on Monday and then be fatigued and then try and hit legs on Tuesday, but I'll get to what Tuesday looks like. So Monday, leg training at the gym and sprints at the track. Tuesday, sore as can be. Midday would be jiu-jitsu. So hour and a half or so of getting choked out, basically. I'm not very good at it yet, but jiu-jitsu is very fatiguing. I get nervous every time I'm about to go in there because I do not love it. A lot of people start jiu-jitsu and they fall in love with it. I absolutely have not. I just want to be a weapon and be able to kick anyone's ass if I need to. So that'll be a handful of years before I'm at that point of confidence. But I do it for a lot of reasons. Don't want to get too in the weeds of that right now. So jiu-jitsu midday, and then I'll do a chest workout at the gym later on in the day. Wednesday is back day. So Wednesday, not actually a rest day, of course, because I'm running and lifting still, but I don't have a secondary thing like jiu-jitsu or sprinting, so kind of a nicer, even lifting day. Thursday is jiu-jitsu again, midday, so I'm doing jiu-jitsu twice a week. And what would Thursday be? Oh, Thursday I'll try and swim. So jiu-jitsu and swimming. Friday is then leg day again, so 2 leg days a week. And then Saturday would be full upper body day, Sunday would be rest day. Monday through Sunday is running in the morning. Of course, I don't really count that as a workout necessarily, but ice bath and run. The running has been a 7-year ongoing streak, so there's been 0 days that did not consist of that morning discipline. So that's kind of the training split right now. The management of volume and bordering overtraining is a huge obstacle. So I'm really trying to be careful of that. I don't want to get injured. I want to remain healthy. Little things always pop up. So, oh, my hip feels this way and whatever. I try to not overthink it. I'll just kind of pull back a little bit, try and recover and get back to it the next week. But trying to get good at too many damn things at once. Jiu-jitsu is hard. It puts a lot of fatigue on your body. Sprinting, a lot of fatigue. Lifting 5-6 times a week, a lot of fatigue. Swimming, I'm kind of shitty at it. I try to not take that overly seriously, but it's something I'm just trying to consistently visit and remain comfortable with. I think that's kind of my main goal with the swimming right now, but definitely balancing a lot. Now, I have a lot of thoughts that, I don't know, maybe piss people off or get some people excited about skill building versus linear exercise. And of course, this goes into the whole hybrid athlete sort of thing. So in my eyes, linear exercise would be something like running. You're doing the exact same thing every single time, and you're trying to get faster at it. You're trying to be able to do it for longer. You're not necessarily going to be linear in process, but the activity itself, in my eyes, is kind of a linear thing. There's a lot of simplicity to it. Skill building. So take a wheelie, take a handstand, a backflip, playing badminton, which is my favorite sport. I might need a whole other podcast episode to talk about badminton because I freaking love it. But take any of these skills. There's a part of your brain different from that of what you're using when you're running or just doing some sort of endurance discipline related thing that is working when you're building these skills, and you're trying to have these tiny micro forms of control over, let's say, a racket, over your body, over a bike, over a skateboard. And I think that is a really cool element of building any kind of athletic skill or skill in general, because it makes your mind sharper, and there really is something to that. So to touch on this hybrid athlete thing, hybrid athlete is a really popular term now. It kind of mainly categorizes people that run and lift. I would say to consider yourself a true hybrid athlete, maybe there should be a competitive nature to each one of those sides. So I'll say a lot of the hybrid athletes are people that do half marathons or high rocks or something, and they're really good at it. So they're really good and competitive at the cardio element, and then they just lift. They just go to the gym and lift and look good. And I don't think that the go to the gym and look good thing is that high of a standard. And let me do a disclaimer here. If you're running, that's amazing. If you're lifting, that's amazing. If you're doing both, that's amazing. If you're going on walks, that's incredible. If you're doing yoga, that's incredible. If you are doing any kind of health-related pursuit, I love you, okay? I'm not trying to make people mad. I'm more so just trying to explain my thoughts about certain labeling of things, certain marketing of things, and that's where I get a little bit sharper in my opinion, we'll say. So the hybrid thing, again, I would say maybe being competitive in multiple different things. Then you could say hybrid athlete, but nature of social media, these things are just thrown around. Oh, I'm a hybrid athlete. I lift and run, and I do this and I do that. When I see somebody that, wins a jiu-jitsu tournament and a freaking powerlifting competition, they go rip a half marathon and they're insane at it, and they do a backflip on a wakeboard behind a boat, I go, holy shit, okay, that's definitely a hybrid athlete. That's pretty cool. And that's the level that I would like to get to. I just think that there's something to focusing on one thing, but then doing that time and time again to where you then have a bunch of different skills, and then you can be a hybrid athlete. Another problem I have with the hybrid thing is that a lot of the people who promote this kind of thing, they spent individual specific time on each element of their hybridism and then put them all together eventually. So spent a crazy amount of time running, and that was their one focus. And then spent a crazy amount of time bodybuilding to look insane, and that was their focus. Whereas a lot of people will see this and they'll try and get good at everything all at once, and that's kind of destructive, actually. You have to take progress in certain skills and categories in seasons, and that's very important so you're not getting freaking hurt all the time. And people fall into this because of the marketing and the hype around it. And, especially here in Austin, Texas, I mean, people will ask what you're training for before they even know your name. And then you get pulled into all these competitions and you're always needing to do something and up it. And then you see people getting hurt over and over again. So really in my criticism, I'm trying to look out for people, but I'm the bad guy. Not really. So the capacity element. So we'll take high rocks, right? High rocks is a big thing right now. It mixes cardio with strength, and it's a great thing. I kind of hate on high rocks just because I'm a CrossFit guy, and high rocks is CrossFit minus all of the cool things, i.e. all of the skills that I really like. But I don't actually hate it. It's a freaking great form of exercise. Of course, mixing endurance and strength-based training is amazing, but it's just strength and conditioning. This is not a new thing, but it's a new marketed thing. There's a new brand to it. There's a new name for it, so people kind of attach themselves to. And then there's worlds, and there's these competitions everywhere, and it's kind of this hyped up thing. But I don't see that as super different from running itself. And then if you were going to mix everything, why not do CrossFit? Because CrossFit is sick. CrossFit just isn't as good at marketing as High Rocks now. So there's kind of a little bit of controversy there. But this is all capacity related, and then when you take skills, again, it's using a different part of your brain. When somebody is doing clean and jerks and ring muscle ups in a CrossFit workout, you go, holy crap. I mean, aside from all the skills, just doing those things consecutively is incredibly difficult for the engine, the conditioning aspect of the workout. But then you add these things that take a long time to learn. It is not easy to do a ring muscle up or a clean and jerk, so there's a really strong mixture there that I'm really a fan of. And again, the other aspect of that, think of maxing out on a clean and jerk. Maxing out on your deadlift is one thing, and the fear there is, damn, well, if I don't lift this, then I'm going to be mad at myself for the next week. But a clean and jerk or maxing out on a snatch, you go, well, if I don't do this right, a lot of bad things could actually happen. And so you have to be so tuned in. You have to be a very skilled athlete to be maxing out on a clean and jerk or a snatch. I digress. So the progress in skill, this is the cool part. Progress in skill is very, very available. And for anybody newly getting into working out, please learn a skill. Learn to do a handstand. That would be the best thing ever because scariness, kind of minimal. Danger, kind of minimal if you're doing it the right way. But you're going to get strong. You're going to have more control over your body. You're going to get healthier. But it's going to be through a means of something that's exciting and you can see progress in rather than just going to the gym and waiting to look different, because that takes a long time. And I've never woken up one day and looked in the mirror and said, I look different from yesterday, except my hair. I feel like my hair always looks different, but my body has never changed so drastically to fuel the next day and make me so motivated and excited. You only see a big difference when you look back on 5 years. If I look at a photo 5 years ago, okay, I'm pretty dialed in now. We got it. But from yesterday, I go, well, nothing's changed. And when nothing's changed, it's kind of hard to use that as motivation to keep going. However, maybe from today to a week from now, you add 5 seconds to your handstand. That's pretty freaking cool. That's pretty freaking exciting. And it's right there. It's a week away. You can see very tangible change very quickly. So again, if you're new to fitness, if you're freaking 10 years into fitness and you just want to get out of a plateau or make some changes, learn a new skill. And it's going to be very, very rewarding because, again, the progress that you can see is super available. Love that aspect of learning new skills. So to wrap up my thoughts on kind of this whole hybrid thing, capacity, the high rocks, the half marathons, the running and the lifting, being able to do a boot camp workout, whatever it is, that, in my opinion, though, again, it might seem like I'm hating on it, that is necessary. That is the baseline. If all you do is lift and then you can't run a mile, I don't like that. I like that less than high rocks. And I'm the high rocks hater. So, I think that we all should be generally prepared. And that is the capacity. That is necessary. That's the baseline. And then adding on top of that, again, these skills are something very, very powerful to add to the toolkit. So, recommendations in this world of fitness. So I have a little note written down here. Realize that most people telling you how to work out didn't use what they're selling to you to get to where they are. If I tried 100 things to get to where I am today, which I've probably tried 100,000, which one worked? Because right now I might have landed on a good method for training and a good way to organize it and puzzle piece it together, and I feel athletic and I'm getting stronger and my physique is getting better. But that plan now is also kind of a result of 1,000 other things that led to that. So is it just that one thing that got me to where I am? Of course not. And one of my favorite quotes, or I don't really think it's an established quote, and I honestly can't remember who said it, where I saw it, but somebody was talking about fitness plans that people sell. And they said, let's say it's a guy with huge biceps or something. The guy does not have huge biceps because of the program that he's selling. He has the program that he's selling because he has huge biceps. Right, so it's a huge confirmation bias. The guy already has the result and then can attribute that result to literally anything. So can write a program and say, hey, here's how you get big biceps. Maybe. I mean, maybe the guy just has insane genetics. Maybe he did a bunch of other things that got him huge biceps and then just went on ChatGPT and said, let me cook up a little bicep routine. A lot of things can be the case in this. And maybe he's trained the same way for 10 years and that's the program that he's selling. That is also a possibility, but I think in most cases, people aren't just using their perfectly established PDF plan to get to where they are because they've probably been trying a bunch of different shit for 10 years. So something to keep in mind. Does that mean you can't trust people on fitness advice? No. If someone's jacked or someone looks really athletic or someone is slim or someone is huge or someone is whatever the hell you're trying to achieve, I mean, shoot, listen to them. If they're where you want to be, maybe they have a little bit more information than you. So this isn't to say, oh, don't trust anybody, everyone's lying to you, whatever. Just keep in mind that no program is going to be the absolute perfect thing. Another recommendation, I already said this, learn freaking handstands. Oh my God. That's my note here. Learn freaking handstands. Oh my God. Because it's perfect. It is the perfect entry into learning a skill that involves your body, controlling that, getting stronger, maybe overcoming a little bit of fear, but nothing too crazy, and then seeing very, very tangible progress. It's so fun. And then when you can walk around on your hands, people, who doesn't love that? Or a backflip. Who doesn't love to see a freaking backflip? That is such a perfectly accessible skill that you can work on. Next, there is no magic pill for exercise. No magic pill. Okay? I was talking to a client of mine, and she always refers to the magic bullet. The magic pill, the thing that's going to just take her to the next step where she wants to be, and it's going to be an easy hack, right? And we're always breaking down that idea. There's no magic bullet, no magic bullet, no magic bullet. And I came up with a cool quote, so I'll share it with you. If you're constantly searching for the magic bullet, all you're doing is using it to shoot yourself in the foot, right? So by looking for the hack, by looking for the workaround, you're just screwing yourself over because you're ignoring the one path, which is through, and that's the only one that works. So do not make any sort of training style your religion. Don't get into yoga and say yoga is everything. Don't get into bodybuilding and say bodybuilding is everything. Don't get into the locomotion, balance, primal related stuff and say this is everything, because it's not. It is not everything. It is one thing. Okay, so do not have a religious relationship with a form of exercise. If you love something, say that. I freaking love yoga. I love it so much, and I don't really love lifting. But don't make up the idea in your mind that yoga is the solution to your life, and yoga is the solution to your injuries, and lifting sucks. Everything has an application. Don't idolize the people that preach a certain form of exercise. Please remain open-minded. It'll serve you very well. I promise you that. If you are overwhelmed by the complexity of your training plan, you won't reach sufficient physical overwhelm. So if you go to the gym and you've got a workout plan that has 100 different things and you got 20 different supersets and you got to put bands on this thing and stop. Simplify it. Because if you're going into the gym anxious about even mentally digesting the workout plan ahead, how the hell are you going to get enough of a physical stimulus to actually get the changes you're looking for, which is a stronger, more capable, better looking body? So don't overcomplicate because you think, again, there's going to be some magic pill involved where, oh, this is what I've been missing. Oh my God, adding bands to my hack squat, that's why I'm not growing my legs. No. Nope, because you're not going to see a change tomorrow. You're going to wake up looking exactly the same, and you're going to have the bands wrapped around your shoulder, and you're going to be hanging from it or whatever, and you're going to look exactly the same. Because any real change, if you want your body to look different, go to the gym every day, put in 1 day of great work, and just cash it in. That's it. Don't wait to see the progress. Don't have an outcome-based emotional relationship. Have an input-based relationship. Say, I'm satisfied because I did the input. I went to the gym. Good on me. Not, oh, well, what's the point of going to the gym today? I don't even look different. I've looked the same for a month. I haven't even lost that much weight. Because if you're looking for the outcome, every day in between day one and the outcome is going to seem like a failure. When if you connect your emotional satisfaction with the input, then every day you make it to the gym, you go, hey, I did the thing. And what a great way to feel. So with that, a couple things to end off the episode. If you are watching the podcast on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Make sure to leave a comment. I love hearing from you guys, and I read all of the comments. Like the video, and what else is there to do? Like, comment, subscribe. I don't know. Those are the three. Spotify, if you're listening or watching on there, you can leave a 5 stars for the podcast, and you can also comment on there. I read all of those. I'd love to hear what you guys think. When someone's watching a long-ass video of me or listen to me talk for this long and you say it's a great thing, well, that makes my freaking day. And it happens here and there, and I see it on my phone, it pops up. I got so much from this episode, or I love this, or I love that concept. I go, wow, what an incredible thing. An incredible level of gratitude flows through my body when I see those little notes. So, hey, leave a comment. Why not? Ooh, my newsletter. I send out two newsletters every single week. I've been writing like a menace lately because I'll just start off with a little idea and I'll just go on the rant. If you're sick and tired of hearing my freaking voice, no, I'm just kidding. But if you don't want to be on social media all the time, you don't want to be listening to something, you'd rather have a tangible little note that you can read through and just have a moment to digest, then the newsletter will be for you. The link to subscribe to that, totally free, will be in the description or show notes of the episode. Speaking on a couple of things that I offer, if you would like any more guidance, maybe with the things that I've talked about, guidance with things you've seen me speak on social media, other episodes, whatever it might be, my one-on-one mentorship. At the time of recording this episode, I have an opening for 3 people for the month of July. So, God, I don't even know if this episode will be out in July, maybe the end of July. I need to get myself together, but it's always worth a shot if you would like to apply to work one-on-one with me for essentially a process of building self-awareness, building purpose, self-discovery, and taking your life to the next level, whatever that actually looks like. It's not meant to be my next level. It's not meant to be me changing your life based on my bias. It's becoming the individual that you would like to be. And what an incredible product that's on the other side of sitting in some hard questions and essentially guaranteeing incredible change because of it. So that's my one-on-one mentorship. Also, my group community. We meet up every single week. We're having engaging conversations in a group setting, meeting other people, networking with folks that actually give a shit about their life. What an incredible thing. Starting August, we're going to be doing monthly challenges. So it's going to be a challenge for everybody in the group to follow along, track their progress, have some accountability. It's going to be healthy habits to change your life. If that is something that you're interested in, or the one-on-one mentorship, links to apply to both of those are going to be in the show notes and description of this episode. Now, last and certainly not least, perhaps most, no phone dinner. I'll say it again, no phone dinner. If you're listening to my voice, if you can see my face, when you eat dinner tonight, your phone is not with you. Okay? It's thrown out the window. It's stuffed in the side of the couch. It's upstairs charging. It's wherever the hell you need it to be other than in your hand, on the table, in your line of sight. And if you're eating dinner right now as you're listening to this episode, then this rule is going to apply to tomorrow. Don't stress. Enjoy your food. Do your thing. But when you can sit down and enjoy a meal, that might be with your family, that might be with your friends, that might be with yourself. All of those are incredible options. And you can just take in the present moment instead of being flooded with distractions from everywhere but your own mind. That is a superpower. That is an amazing thing to be able to add to your life. So no phone dinner. You heard me. Don't get to dinner and then say, yeah, what did he say? No phone dinner. You didn't forget. You know what time it is. With that said, you guys are the freaking best. I love this podcast. I hope you do too. This has been a ton of fun. I love talking about the training stuff. So if you guys have any questions, anything like that, again, make sure to comment. I think next episode I'm going to do a Q&A, so that'll be a lot of fun. I hope you have an incredible rest of your day. I'll see you on the next one. Peace. 38 minutes. Dang, dude. I made you guys listen to me for that long. Shit, that's my bad. Oh my days. Oh my absolute days, innit?